everyone. Welcome to Regional Scrum Gathering 2021. So today we are going to join our welcome you all to join this session. So all of you know that non-function requirement defines the quality characteristics of the solution. It can transform a user story from good to great. In this session, we are going to uncover the most missed non-functional requirements using story cubes with Priya Patra. And she is an author, blogger, woman entrepreneur, believer, dreamer, creator, and a futurist, an agile evangelist and a program manager and she is leading an agile transformation across the countries in her organization. So let's welcome to Priya for her session. Over to Priya.
Thank you, Jafar Bhai, and thank you, Tawfiq Bhai, for introducing me so warmly and inviting me for the session. So, what are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about user stories, right? And how to transform user stories from good to great. সো ফার্স্ট অফ অল শুভ সন্ধ্যা সবাইকে আমি শুভেচ্ছা জানাই গুড টু গ্রেট ইউজার স্টোরিজ উইথ স্টোরি কিউবস নিয়ে আলোচনা করার সুযোগ দেওয়ার জন্যই রিজিনাল স্ক্রাম গ্যাদারিং কলকাতাকে আমার আন্তরিক ধন্যবাদ আসুন এখন এই টপিকটাই চলে যাই সো লেট আস সি হোয়াট আ গুড ইউজার স্টোরি উইল বি লাইক সো আই ওয়াজ প্ল্যানিং টু ট্রাভেল ফ্রম মুম্বাই টু হায়দ্রাবাদ. Yes, I live in Mumbai and I was planning to travel from Mumbai to Hyderabad. As I Googled for the best way to reach Hyderabad, you know what Google threw me up? Well, you must have always seen these options. First option, about taking a bus from Mumbai to Hyderabad through the Pune-Sholapur road, right, via NH 85. Okay, so I'm not even sure whether this is probably is a good idea for me or not. Yes, and I'm trying to go from Mumbai to Hyderabad, and it's telling me you take a car. Sorry, it was not a bus, it was a car, and it tells me it will take you 13 hours 29 minutes and via NH 65. And the purpose why I'm traveling to Hyderabad is because I want to present in a conference tomorrow morning, say 10:30 a.m. And if I start now by car, 13 hours, I'm not sure in what position I will go and reach Hyderabad, and whether I'll be in a position to do a presentation or not. So yes, so what should I do now? This is probably a user story, which is a good. It gives me an option from going from point A to point B, but probably it is not efficient for me. As a user, I cannot take this solution because I don't even know whether it is safe or not. Now, let me see the next option that Google is giving me. Now, here, Google is telling me take a bus. Okay, bus probably is a little safe because there'll be many travelers who will travel with me. But again, that is going to take me around 14 hours, 20 minutes. And at this point of time, it doesn't look, it is a very efficient way for me to go from Mumbai to Hyderabad. Because again, in a bus, 14 hours, and then after traveling, I reach Hyderabad. I'm not sure whether I'll be energetic enough to give a presentation like this. So let us see what the next option that Google is giving me. Oh my God, this is my walk, 143 hours. No way. This probably is not at all efficient. On top of that, I don't even know whether this is safe or not, because on the way, there could be some bandh, there could be some riots, as you know, whatever is happening in India nowadays. So I'm not even sure whether this is a safe way or an efficient way to go to Hyderabad. Again, a good user story from point A to point B. It does serve the purpose, but it is not efficient. It is not something which is fulfilling my purpose. Although my requirement is to go from Mumbai to Hyderabad, but this probably is not the efficient way that I would like to take. So what is a great user story? These are all examples of good user stories. Remember, when we are developing products for our customers, we always keep in mind A to B. That is what the customer wants. And many a times we forget whether it is efficient, whether it is safe, whether it is available. I don't even know going by walk is available or not, right? There may not be paths which will allow me to walk. So, what is a great user story? So, as you have understood, great user story is something which is reliable. If I'm supposed to go from A to B, walking is not a reliable option for me to go from A to B. So that's not a great user story. It has to be safe. Yes, walking probably is not safe for me either, and it has to be efficient. As I said few minutes back, walking, car, bus is probably not the most efficient way for me to go from A to B, and it has to be cost effective. So I cannot have a private jet helicopter to take me from A to B. I'm not sure whether that is cost effective or not, right? Okay, and it has to be available, right? And because we need to have the path available for me to walk or to go from A to B. So, good to great means it has to be reliable, it has to be safe, it has to be available, and it has to be efficient as well as cost effective. Now, let me see the last option that Google gave me. It tells me yes, there is a flight option as well, 1 hour 20 minutes. Yes, and it cost around 5,000 INR. Well, I think it's worth the money because I don't have to spend so much hours, 13 hours, 14 hours in a train or a bus. And moreover, I can get up early in the morning and just go to Hyderabad and be fresh and nice and present an energetic presentation like this. So that is a great user story. It still serves the purpose from going from point A to point B, but what is it? It is also efficient, it is also safe, it is reliable, and it is cost effective. And that is exactly what a great user story is about. Now, what are these attributes that which I'm talking about? I'm talking about safety. I'm talking about reliability. I'm talking about efficiency. These are nothing but attributes of a system, and these serves as a constraint or a restriction on the design of a system. And these are nothing but non-functional requirements. And it defines, as you all know, the quality characteristics of a solution. It can really transform a good user story to a great. But many a times, my friends, and I know it is true for, it's the ground reality. It is true for many projects. And I've seen in my 15 years managing projects as agile coach, project managers, we have seen that we are so much user centric about A and B that we just focus on A and B and a solution to connect A and B. We either don't define the non-functional requirements or we just assume yes we know, right? And these requirements, as you know, it really serves as important constraints for teams leading to a solution. And yet many a times we think that yeah, everybody knows and we just kind of forget about it. But remember, these are not optional. Assuming that the team knows or understand the non-functional constraints leads to the lack of explicit definition and subsequent failure to kind of define these non-functional requirements as well. Now, what can we do? One thing that came to my mind, and this is something that I downloaded, it is a wonderful job aid. It is from Requirement Quest, and there's a link at the bottom of the slide. It is freely downloadable. You can download this, stick it on your, in your user story writing workshop, wherever you are having, or on your Jira board, right? It exactly tells us that different groups of non-functional requirements, like operation group, revision group, and a transition group. Yes, you can go into it and see more about it, right? And it also serves as a job aid because you will never forget. If you keep looking at it, you will, while in your user story writing workshop or a the session that you are having with your team, and if you have this in front of you, you will never it will serve as a reminder, I would say. Now, looking at the operation group, like it's all about how the user is using your system. It's about accessibility. It's about security. How the system operates. And I'm not going to go deep into details of every component in this group, but this is downloadable. It will serve as a good job aid for you. Then comes a revision group, and where it is all about maintainability, modifiability of your system, whether it is scalable or not. So that's becomes a revision group. And last but not the least is a transition group. And here we think how we can, how it is interoperable, how it is reusable, how it is, installed in different systems, etc. So now we have a job aid. You can all take a screenshot of this job aid and you can keep it with you. Yes, but still, does this serve as a very efficient way of defining non-functional requirements? If you look at it, I find it very boring because it's like a different group set. That it's a serious matter. Every time I have to look at it and I have to think, oh, did I write or not? And I'm sure if it is a boring exercise, we will again forget to define them. So, what is the problem here? The problem here is that, first of all, we don't define the non functional requirements, thinking that everyone knows. Secondly, when we try to do so, we just do it for the sake of doing because they are not fun to write. So, can we make it fun? That is the purpose of this discussion today. And that is the main thought behind this discussion today. Can we make it fun? Do we have a prop that can make user story writing or discovering the non functional requirement in a fun way? Well, I think we have one, and this is what it is. And this is called Rory's Story Cubes. Okay. So once upon a time, there was a game where you could unleash your imagination to no limits. And that is nothing but the story cubes. It is available on Amazon, Amazon.in for INR 499. And these are like, it's like it has cubes, 9 cubes in that box, right? And story cubes are games which are not only specifically designed for the agile community, but it is also could be played with your friends, family at home, and it could kind of be very very successful in your work environment as well. So let me show you how a story cube looks like, and for that I got to stop sharing because that's going to give me a more space to show you what the story cube looks like. So here it is, the story cubes, right? And if you see, there are cubes in it, and each cube has pictures on these cubes, right? Okay, so let me show you a cube. Yes, this is a cube. There are 9 cubes, and every cube has pictures on their each face of this cube. If you can see it, yeah, I know it is a virtual mode. I wish it was face to face. We could have lots of fun. Okay. Now, I will go back to my presentation again. I just stop the presentation to ensure that you have a good look at the story cubes. All right. So now we know that, this is how the story cubes looks like, and how does it work actually? It provides a random input to your brain, and which breaks our habitual thought patterns. Why random input? Look at this picture on the cube, right? And you will see the pictures could be of a sheep, as you see here, right? I can show you on this thing. It's a sheep. Do we ever come across sheep in software development? I suppose no. Until unless you're developing something for a farmhouse or a farm, or for food supply chain, etc. But in non-functional requirements, how does sheep comes into picture, right? These are these random inputs that will break your habitual thought patterns. In essence, it will force you to think differently than you are used to. Now let me show you one more picture. Okay, so uh, as we know that this story gives different pictures on every side of its every face, I would say. Now look at the first picture that you see. It is, for me, it is a globe or a earth, right? But I told my 13-year-old daughter to come up with as many as things that she can come up with when she looks at this picture. And this is what she came up with. She says earth. First thing that came to her mind was earth. Then she also said COVID, because the entire world is engulfed with COVID. She talked about geography. She said rotation. She said solar system. She said living beings. She said globe. And imagine if my 13-year-old daughter, of course, children are more creative than adults, can come up with so many things, right? When she looks at this picture, I'm sure, like we as adults, if we rack our brains, we can come up with many, many other things as well. Now look at that footprint that you see right there. When we try to correlate with the software development, the product that we are developing, we can think about it as internationalization, expansion, right? Have we taken care of internationalization? Have we taken care of the accessibility requirements? That's a non-functional requirement in many countries. If you have not taken care of your accessibility requirements, you will have to pull back your product. So these are those pictures that are here to give you a random input to your brain to come up with bright ideas. And this is just one way that we are leveraging in the agile community as to defining non-functional requirements. Let me take you to a small exercise that we did. As you all know, I lead a women group within outside the organization, and the name of that group is Women Power Up. And over the last couple of years, this group has been, not couple of years, just 1 year, this group has been expanding. And because of this virtual COVID world, we have been able to expand into different countries across the globe. And it is time that I think that we should build a website. And that's the website that I'm supposed to build. And since it is a voluntary, it is a non-profit organization, we don't charge money, we don't have money. All my business analysts, my designers, my developers are volunteers. And I need to engage them to build this website. And I want to make it a little interesting. And I'm a fan of story cues, as you know. And this is my remote team, because now I cannot connect with anyone, and I don't have a total authoritative influence on them. I can just engage them to build this website. So I'm trying to tell them to come up with all non-functional requirements that can happen, that can come while they are building this website. And what I've done, I have rolled the story queue. And the picture that came is a bee. And this is how it looks like. It's a bee. So, and everyone who's attending this session is part of this exercise. So they are writing user stories for me. And I would want you to look at this bee and come up with as many as words you can think of. The first thing that come to your mind when you look at this picture of a bee, go to menti.com 5141827 and let me know what do you think when you see a picture of a bee. So I will go to menti.com right now and see that what you are coming up with. I have to present the slide now. Yes, and I see things like honeycomb. Awesome. And this is what actually comes up. And let me share the screen as well so that you guys can see what you are coming up with. Awesome. Many things. Group work, great architect, honey, beehive. Now try to relate it to a software product. When you think of a honey, What comes to your mind? Someone said about a great architect, which is great. What else? Industrious. B. Honey. Security. Awesome. Who is this guy who said security? Just raise your hand. Wow, this is so nice. Small. Yes, start small. Small, step by step. Explore. Awesome. A technical spike, it could be. Yes, what else? Tasty. That's also a good one. Yes, so I see 15 things here. People have come up with 15 items, and I want to know what else. I want to see what else people are coming up with. Free flying bee. Okay, so it could be something to do with loosely coupling. Awesome. What else? What else? 17 people. And I've done this exercise multiple times and I get some awesome answers all the time. Wow, be awesome. Awesome, awesome. Honey flowers. So when you talk about flowers, a free flying bee, honey flowers, when you talk about flowers, we could also think about different systems that my website would have to connect with. It could be interconnectiveness, right? Okay, 19 people have voted. So I will wait for one more second to see if people are voting more. Yes? All right. Any more answers? Any more? Yes, robust coming. Very nice, very nice. Keep them coming, guys. It's very good. I'm really excited about this. Yeah. All right. 20 people have answered, and we got very nice answers. Okay. So let me go back to my slide deck and I'll show you what others have been thinking so far. So let me minimize this. Yes. So I conducted this exercise with, other people as well, like, 2-3 times, and this is what people have come up with, and I'm like amazed with what kind of answers people come up with. Look at the power of that picture. Look at the power of the story cubes. It is not a marketing session for story cubes, of course, but this exercise can be done with any pictures, right, which you think can give you a random input to think about something different. Okay, so I've done this exercise with a PMI chapter, and this is what they came up with. There were 56 people who were there on the session, and they came up with these kinds of inputs. Okay, now after this session, after this, obviously, I don't have much time to go over it, but what I did there is that I created a Jamboard, a Google Jamboard, and I told them this is a B. Okay, come up with as many as non-functional requirements or requirements. Okay, people came up with requirements also. That's also fine. But think about it. I'm designing a website for Women Power Up Network. And when I look at the B, for me, I will show you what I think when I look at the B. I think that it's about interconnectedness, right? And so it could be my website should allow the members of my group to connect with different other communities which have similar interests. That could be one. And these are something that people have come up with. They think that a bee goes from one flower to another. So does it have to be cross browser compatible? Awesome, that's a good idea. Yes, I will want my website to be cross browser compatible, or I would want my website to work on different devices. That is for sure. I should not get rid of that. People also talked about security. I know you guys also talked about security. Have we taken care of the security? People also talked about consider audience geography, age group. Yes, because it goes from one place to another. So people talked about audience, or the geography. People thought about performance. Yes, it works hard all the time. Will my website be able to work hard all the time? What is the performance? Okay, what are your success story? This is of course not a non-functional requirement, but people came up with. Yes, responsive, a responsive site, 100% uptime. Yeah, easy to access and operate. Awesome. And see, multilingual, multi-language, cultural diversity, because it goes from a bee, goes from one flower to another. So it could also tell us about expansion to different geographies. Yes, secure, interactive, and the ideas can be limitless. So you can go wild with your imagination. These cubes are scientifically designed to trigger that imaginative mind. So although we have a job aid which is boring, you see that I pasted that job aid over there. It is boring. I'm not sure if many people will look at it, but if they will definitely look at that cube, and they will have fun rolling this cube, and then with each picture they can come up with different ideas. And of course there could be millions and millions of combinations, so we do not want to roll multiple cubes. One cube, this honeybee is very close to my heart. Whenever I think of a honeybee, I think of a community, I think of expansion, I think of hard work, performance, I think of security. So this is an example that I took. Look at it. Available on Amazon just for $4.99. You can have a look at it and see whether it can help you to make your teams more imaginative, more creative, and of course, the exercise can be a lot of fun. All right, so let us transform your user stories from good to great, right? So, yes, with the help of story cubes, we can discover our non-functional requirements, make it a little fun while defining them, and we can transform our user stories from good to great. So, here it is. Roll the cube, look at the picture, look at the job aid that we have, relate to a non-functional requirement, and define an NFR. Easy, isn't it? Yes, let's transform our user stories from good to great. Now the question comes, well, you showed me a physical cube on a camera. It may not be effective. How will I use it for my virtual teams? We just did, right? I showed you the picture of the cube that came while I rolled the cube. I took a picture, put it on the Jamboard, Google Jamboard, and asked my 56 strong virtual teams to come up with requirements. And they had a lot of fun. Trust me, it can be work. We can always work by taking a picture of the cube, put it on the Jamboard, and ask people to brainstorm. But wait, there is a very other efficient way to do this. Okay, I will have to stop sharing my screen again because I'm going to display another thing that would be, very, very interesting. Yes. So here it is. We have a Story Cube application app for iOS as well as Android. I think it's just 159 rupees or something like that. So you could, how do you play this? Every one of your team can download this, and you just shake your phone, and there the cubes are. And you could just do this. It doesn't work. Okay. You could just again shake, come up with the cubes, take one cube and start brainstorming. Easy, isn't it? Yeah. Cost constraint will give us, oh, wait. The cost, do you think the cost is too high? All right, we'll talk about this a little later. Never mind. Okay, so I will go back to my screen share again. And of course, we can use this for virtual teams because that's the need of the hour right now. And and can it be scaled? Of course, it can be. With the app, we can scale it. Now, even if you don't want to use the app, you can just one person can buy the story cubes, and that person facilitates the session, takes a picture of the story cube, put it on the Jamboard, and we can scale it to, I just did with a team of 56 members. We could even take it to hundreds, right? And what else? Where else can I use this prop? Right? I could use this as a warmer. Like, when you start a meeting, you can use just roll the cube and ask people to relate to this picture that comes and introduce themselves. I've done this multiple times. It is fun. It can be used to know each other, say, introduce each other. First, you can introduce yourself, or you can introduce the other person, get to know each other more. For teams who do not know each other, who have never met each other, you could have cubes to know, find out similarities between themselves with the help of these cubes. It can improve collaboration. So we could do one thing like a improve theater, right? So whenever there's a new idea that is presented, other people in the team have to accept that idea and build on top of it, so that the story goes beyond, right? Story moves forward. And if the idea is rejected, the story ends, and that's probably is not interesting. So you could just roll a cube and we can start. Once upon a time there was a honeybee. Now Zafar Vai can add to it, yes, and this honeybee used to go from one flower to another. And then Tawfiq Bhai can add to it, saying that one day this honeybee met with a beautiful sunflower, and the story can go on and on. And that's how we build on collaboration within the teams. And I've seen this happening with teams who have always worked on silos. But when we come to this kind of exercise, they actually build on each other's stories and start bonding. Awesome. Okay. And it can make you very, very creative. As I said, you saw what a bee can trigger from you. Increase creativity. Creativity can allow yourself to think differently. And there's a lot been said about creativity. We don't even have to talk about it. We understood how creative we can become. It can improve our presentation skills. In many meetings I take this picture, and there are people who don't talk at all in the meeting. I tell them to come up with something when they what comes to their mind when they see that picture. And it can break the ice, and it can help people to improve your team members presentation skills as well. All right. So can we make user stories great again? Yes, with the help of story cubes. Forget story cubes. It's just a prop. It is a question of giving a random input to your brain so that you start thinking differently. So there you are. Let's make user stories great again. So in conclusion, I will go back to my mother tongue again. আশা করছি আপনারা এই বক্তব্যটা পরিষ্কারভাবে বুঝতে পেরেছেন। সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ দিই। শুভরাত্রি। And that means that hope you have understood my presentation well. And good night. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And here I am. My name is Priya Patra, and I'm a program manager, no longer a project manager. Sorry, I'm a program manager, and I lead the Agile community of practice within my organization. It is again a virtual collaboration platform. Even long before COVID, we were always virtual. From 2015, I've been leading this community. I have around 546 members across the globe on this community. We come together every week, Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m., share our experiences, everything related to Agile. And I also lead digital transformation programs for the organization I work for. I am the employer brand, so you will see a lot of posts that I do for talking about the thought leadership of my organization. I do have some speaking experiences, and this COVID has given me immense opportunity. I can speak in any countries without passport, without visa. So far, spoken in 54 conferences, and that excites me a lot because the opportunities are boundaryless. And that's my Twitter handle, @Priya Patra, my LinkedIn profile, and my Gmail account. Do connect with me. Follow me on these hashtags, Agile W2W and Speaker Priya, which talks about my speaking engagement. And when I'm not working, I was thinking about the future of work. I didn't know the future would come so fast. And I was thinking how the future would be for project managers, because I'm a project manager, program manager. And I used to write blogs for projectmanagement.com. And you can find them with the hashtag future of PM work. Since January 2020, I've been leading a women group, and you can see more about this with the hashtag We Powered Up, and being good enough is amazing. And with this, I will pause now for any questions that you have. I saw a couple of questions about the cost and all. Don't worry about the cost. If you think this cubes are costly, go for any random input. I would say give a random input which is not even connected to the software industry. You will see how creative your team can become. And thank you. With this, I will hand over the stage to Jafar Bhai to see if there are any
Thank
questions.
you.
can take them.
Yeah, thank you, Didi. We have I'm requesting all participants to put their questions on Q&A segment. So, though we got one question is here in the feed segment, so I think we can start with that question. So that is, why do you strongly recommend these for non-functional requirement? Let
Oh,
me answer it.
non-functional requirement has been a pain point for me, so I'm recommending it for non-functional requirement. I have seen my teams have done excellently well, high velocity, everything, but the stories do not get accepted. At the end, it comes back again, and we then fight to say this is a change request. Of course, it is not a change request. It is an implicit requirement because we never define them. That's why I'm recommending it, because that's a pain point, but it can be used elsewhere as well.
Okay, so if you guys if you have any more questions, please put it there, and elsewise we're going to close the session. So, so no more queries, and thanks for the PRD for a wonderful session. So it's actually a wonderful derivation of this story, utilization of this story cube. So thanks from on behalf of the organizing team. So, Tawfiq bhai, if you have anything to say, you can join add.
Yeah, thanks to Priya Didi for her wonderful session. And yes, I believe that all of us can learn from this session and better insight on user stories. Right. It was a great session. Thanks, Didi.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for all the participants in this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.